South Africans, what I'm about to show you will leave you absolutely stunned. While thousands of Zimbabweans are waiting at the Beitbridge border right now, camping for days just trying to get into South Africa to escape the crisis in their country, your president Cyril Ramaphosa stood in Harare and made one of the most embarrassing speeches any South African leader has ever made. If you believe South Africans deserve to hear the truth, without filters and without propaganda, just tap that like button right now. And if you want to stay informed about what your leaders are really saying and really planning, hit subscribe. Now, watch carefully because these statements will shock you. Let me start with the most outrageous statement first. Please show the video.
And I hope you will not be saying that we are stealing your intellectual property. As good neighbors, allow us to copy something from you so that we too can reach the high level that you have reached.
Did you hear that? Did you really hear what your president just said? He is begging Zimbabwe to let South Africa copy their policies so that South Africa can reach the same high level as Zimbabwe. Let me ask you a simple question. What high level is Ramaphosa talking about? Is it the high level of having your currency collapse not once, but twice? Is it the high level where over 3 million of your citizens are living in another country because they cannot survive at home? Is it the high level of 90% unemployment? Right now, as I speak to you, there are thousands of Zimbabweans at the Beitbridge border. They have been waiting there for days. They are camping on the ground. They are desperate to get into South Africa. And why? Because of this so-called high level that Ramaphosa wants to copy. These people are leaving the exact same policies that Ramaphosa is praising. If Zimbabwe has reached such a high level, why are its people leaving? Why are they not staying in Zimbabwe to enjoy this success? The answer is simple. Ramaphosa is misleading you. There is no high level in Zimbabwe. There is only poverty, economic hardship, and economic collapse. Now watch this next clip carefully. Please show the video.
We do have shows, agricultural shows in South Africa, but let me say, much as ours are impressive, yours has impressed me more. And thank you very much for displaying all this to us.
This is perhaps the most insulting thing Ramaphosa said to every South African. He just told the world that Zimbabwe's agricultural show is more impressive than South Africa's. Let me give you the facts. South Africa has a functioning agricultural sector that contributes over 300 billion rand to our economy. We export food to the entire African continent. We feed other countries. Zimbabwe cannot even feed itself. Zimbabwe imports food from South Africa. Zimbabwe receives food aid from the United Nations. Their shops struggle with supply. Their people face food insecurity. And yet Ramaphosa stands there and says their agricultural show impressed him more than ours. This is like a teacher telling the class that the failing student's work is better than the top student's work. It makes no sense. Unless Ramaphosa is sending you a message. Unless he is telling you that he plans to transform South African agriculture the same way Zimbabwe transformed theirs. That is the only way his statement makes sense. Listen to this next one. Please show the video.
It's agricultural development to a higher and higher level. I must say that Zimbabwe, in the way that you are developing your agriculture, stands out as a shining example for what many other countries in our region, in SADC, and indeed on the continent can learn from. So I came, I saw, I heard, and I must say that I have learned a lot.
A shining example. He called Zimbabwe a shining example. Zimbabwe used to be called the breadbasket of Africa. They used to export food to everyone. Today, they cannot feed their own people. Agricultural production dropped by 70%. 70%. They disrupted over 4,000 productive commercial farms. Those farms are now underutilized. The land is not being used effectively. And the farmers they removed? Those same white farmers are now farming successfully in Zambia, Mozambique, and Nigeria. They are producing record harvests in those countries. This proves it was not the farmers who were the problem. It was the policies. It was the forced land redistribution. It was the undermining of property rights. And that is what Ramaphosa calls a shining example. That is what he says the whole continent should learn from. Think about what that means. He wants every African country to follow Zimbabwe's agricultural path. He wants widespread food insecurity across Africa. That is what a shining example means in Ramaphosa's dictionary. Now this one will really make you angry. Please show the video.
And certainly, this is something that I want to carry with back home to South Africa, which I will take back to South Africa so that we can also be like you.
He wants South Africa to be like Zimbabwe. He is thanking them for teaching him lessons that he will take back home. What lessons exactly? How to create food shortages, how to make your currency worthless, how to turn your farmers into economic migrants. Those empowered small-scale farmers he is praising, where are they? They are here in South Africa. They are selling vegetables on the street corners. They are working on South African farms. They are queuing at Home Affairs for permits. They could not make it work in Zimbabwe even after they got the land. They got no support, no credit, no inputs, no markets. The land just sits there underutilized while they come to South Africa to survive. And this is what Ramaphosa wants to bring to South Africa. He wants to empower South African small-scale farmers the same way Zimbabwe empowered theirs, which means he wants to follow the same agricultural path and create millions of South African economic migrants who will have to move to Botswana and Namibia. Listen carefully to this next statement. Please show the video.
I must say I have delayed in coming to see for myself this outstanding agricultural show. I now confess that I've been missing out a lot over the years, and I regret that.
He regrets missing out. Missing out on what exactly? Missing out on watching farms get redistributed. Missing out on seeing commercial agriculture get disrupted. Missing out on witnessing hyperinflation of 89.7 sextillion%? That is not a number I made up. That is the real inflation rate Zimbabwe reached. Missing out on bread queues? Missing out on supply shortages? What was he missing out on? The economic collapse? The policy implementation? The disruption? Most sensible leaders would be grateful they missed seeing such crisis, but not Ramaphosa. He regrets it. He wishes he had been there to watch it all happen. This tells you something very important about his mindset. He sees Zimbabwe's crisis as something positive. He sees it as something worth witnessing. That should concern every South African. Listen to what he says about progress. Please show the video.
Today, I have seen for myself and heard for myself exactly the progress that you have made. I congratulate you on the impressive progress you have made in agriculture, dear President. The black majority of your country was confined to communal lands and all but completely excluded from commercial farming. This, in many ways, mirrored our own experience in South Africa, where a large portion of land was taken away from black people of our country.
He is comparing South Africa to Zimbabwe. Something even more concerning here. Ramaphosa is not uninformed. He knows what happened in Zimbabwe. He knows millions left. He knows the economy collapsed. He knows people faced severe hardship. He knows all of this. So why is he praising it? Why is he calling it a success? Because he does not care about the consequences. The ANC elite will be fine no matter what happens. They have their money offshore. They have their second passports. They have their exit plans. When South Africa follows Zimbabwe's path, they will fly to Dubai or London. It is you, the ordinary South African, who will suffer. You will be the one in the queue at the border trying to get into Botswana. You will be the one waiting for days hoping to cross. You will be the one watching your savings become worthless. You will be the one unable to feed your family. Look at those Zimbabweans at the border right now. That is your future if Ramaphosa gets his way. Those people had jobs once. They had homes. They had normal lives. Then their government undermined everything with the exact same policies Ramaphosa is now praising. And within a few years, they lost everything. Their money became worthless. Their jobs disappeared. Their savings vanished. They had no choice but to leave. Now they are at the South African border seeking entry. And what is Ramaphosa doing? He is standing in Harare, congratulating the government that caused this situation. He is thanking them for lessons he will bring back to South Africa. He is promising to make South Africa just like Zimbabwe. Every South African needs to understand what this speech means. This was not just a diplomatic visit. This was not just being polite to a neighbor. This was Ramaphosa telling you his plans. He was announcing what he intends to do to South Africa. He was preparing you for the path that is coming. And he thinks you are uninformed enough to believe him when he calls Zimbabwe's situation a success. He thinks you have not noticed the millions of Zimbabweans in South Africa. He thinks you do not see them at the border. He thinks you do not understand cause and effect. But you are not uninformed. You can see what Zimbabwe has become. You can see the Zimbabweans in South Africa working any job they can find, because there is nothing back home. You can see them sending every rand they earn back to their families, because the situation is so dire. You know the truth. Zimbabwe is not a shining example. Zimbabwe is a warning. It is a warning of what happens when populist politicians undermine property rights and the rule of law in the name of empowerment. It is a warning of what happens when governments redistribute productive assets to people without support. It is a warning of what happens when ideology trumps economics. And now your president wants to ignore that warning. He wants to repeat Zimbabwe's mistakes. He wants to drive South Africa down the same path. And he is telling you this openly. He is not even hiding it anymore. He went to Zimbabwe and praised their situation publicly. He called it impressive and a shining example. He said he learned a lot and wants to copy them.